Oh, hey there, everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Tournament Horse Racing, and it is brought to you by Broke Guys Handicapping. Here's how it works. We've broken the horse racing calendar into four little tournaments throughout the year. You're actually watching one of those tournaments. We call it the Summer Stakes. And what's going to happen is each of our horse players are going to make four mythical $2 win place bets as far as tonight's tournament is concerned. Whoever wins the most amount of money wins today's tournament. There's 10 tournaments that are going to make up what we call the summer stakes. And before I get too far into this, we'll have four tournaments throughout the year. At the end of the year, they're going to have one year-end champion. We've already had one tournament that's completed. That was the Preps. We've had a second tournament now that's been completed. That was the Triple Crown tournament, and now we're into the Summer Stakes. And before I get going too far, I want to introduce our horse players to you. I'm your host. My name is Rich Sharp, and I always start out all the way over on 3 hours ahead of me. I always appreciate Ray Torado staying up late at night. He is in Staten Island, New York. Ray, how have you been? How's it going out there in Staten Island, New York?
I'm doing good, good. Nothing like a good little nap beforehand, so I'm ready to go.
There you go. You're all refreshed.
And I'm refreshed. I'm ready for that ride up the throughway because you know where we're going tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to kick it off here out in your neighborhood as we often do during the summer. You know what? We're going to swing around down to the just a little bit to the north of me. He's a good friend of mine. He's actually our newest horse player. He's our newest addition to the show. However, don't let that take you off guard. Steve won the first tournament of this year. Steve Newsom from
Mhm.
Menifee, California. Steve, how are you doing, my friend?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Day
And
by
last
day.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's Friday. We're all in a good mood. All right. And
Mhm.
last but not least, he's one of my oldest friends. He actually lives just a little bit to the south of me here in Temecula, California. He is, quite frankly, probably the best horse player on this show. His name is Joe English. Joe, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. I'm not sure if that's high praise to live up to, considering there's just
I,
four of us. But
yeah,
but hey, I guess I'll take it. Thanks, Rich. I appreciate the compliment. How you
I,
guys doing?
I think I've always respected your opinion. I always will. If you ever see pictures of
Most
us
knowledgeable. How's that?
yeah, on most knowledgeable, yeah,
I
exactly.
I
You
dig the
know,
deepest. How's that? Let's just say that
Yeah,
we can go
he's
there.
yeah, and for that point, he's our defending
Uh,
champion. Steve or Joe did take home the championship last year. All right, with
Just like fantasy football, same thing.
I've always got a disclaimer that I throw out there for these for everybody who watches our show, all 25 to 100 of you. Joe, Ray, Steve, and myself, we're all just horse players. We really love the sport. We get together on a weekly basis to share our opinions on horse racing and handicapping. By no means are we recommending our picks. These are just the personal picks of the players who are here on Tournament Horse Racing, and I- will leave it at that. We're going to go ahead and move along to our show. I'll show you what happened last week on Tournament Horse Racing here. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen with you. I'll bring that up.
Mm.
That's actually the card that we'll be looking at tonight. And we will go ahead and start over here. Last week was the beginning of the Summer Stakes series. So we had two tournaments that are already completed. As I mentioned, Steve won the first one. I won the second one. We are now on to our third tournament of the year. It is again called the Summer Stakes. If I was going to handicap this one as a race caller, which, as you guys might imagine, I like to do, I would sit there and say that Joe broke slowly and Steve and Rich kind of stumbled coming out of the gate. Ray hit the gate and lost his jockey. But as a result, Joe did actually win last week's tournament with a grand total of $8.70 without any prejudice whatsoever. Joe, I will say that you won that on a call by the referees.
I know, Rich. I knew. When I sent you guys a text
I
saying, "Oh
saw
God,
it
I ran third three times in four races." I was like, "That's not going to help." And then I looked back at the results and I said, "Hey, wait a minute. What? How did that happen?"
Hey,
And
wait a
then
minute.
I'd heard about the disqualification, actually, of the horse that you guys had
12, right? Yeah,
that
coming
finished
second, right?
second. Yeah,
Second, yeah.
yeah. That moved up the horse that I had in that last race, and basically that was all I expected of him anyway.
Yeah, nice commentary, man.
It's nice to get it right once in a while.
All right. Well,
So probably, Who would have won? Probably if this for second place.
I
No,
believe it
Steve would have won
I
because
believe
Steve, right? Steve,
I
yeah.
believe
Steve would have won
Steve.
because
They're
he
the
had.
same horse, right?
Yeah, you were all on the same horse. Yeah.
Yeah, so Steve would have won.
Yeah.
Sorry,
All right.
Steve.
Eh,
So
whatever.
A
as you see
freaking
there,
blinking objection. Oh, he's-
yeah, the loudest objection coming from Menifee, California.
oh,
All right. So as you see there, Joe does take home the winner in the first race there at Belmont Park. The good news for the other horse players is we don't really measure wins unless by some freak incident we come in with a tie, which has almost happened like 3 or 4 tournaments so far since we started this. But Joe is in first place. He's got $8.70, and just about $1.50 behind him is Steve, and I've got $4.30. And again, bad news for Ray. He is in last, but good news for Ray. It's just $8 back. So, all right, we are moving along. We are up in Mr. Torado's vicinity. We are heading to Saratoga, and for those of you who do like to watch our show, you're going to hear me say that quite a bit because Saratoga is featured here in the Summer Stakes quite often. We are starting in race number 8. They're going a mile and an eighth on the turf. This is the Grade 1 Diana Stakes. The purse is $500,000. It is for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upward, and your morning line favorite is, without surprise, named Bleecker Street, trained by Chad Brown and ridden by Edward Ortiz. They're both back here on the shelf behind me. 6-5 on the Saratoga morning line. And, we're just going to go in order of our victor last week. Joe, you won. You're in first place. Who do you like in the Diana?
Actually, it's funny, Rich, because I'm actually kind of surprised, and like I said, I know I mentioned it off the air last week. I thought Regal Glory was going to run in this race, but I heard later, actually during the week, that Regal Glory is actually going to try and take on the males in the 4-star Dave later in the meet, which is why she's not listed in this race. And there's another horse that Chad Brown has called Shantasara, who's also not in this race, but he figured he managed to come up with 4 horses anyway. And honestly, would any of us really be surprised if he filled out the first 4 slots in the superfecta? Probably not. Um, I went with the favorite, and part of the reason is because I think because of the presence of Delika, there's enough speed that somebody is going to go with either technical analysis or what's in Italian, the other Chad Brown, because both of those two have speed. I mean, obviously, going against each other, they would not be cutthroat in it if it was just the two of them. But I think Delika's presence makes it um, likely that there's at least a reasonable pace. And I just think the race sets up for her. She's a closer. She's the best closer. She's undefeated. I mean, to me, it's as simple as she's better than everybody else, and she's more consistent than Chad's other horse, Rougier, even though Flavian Pratt's on. Um, so I'm actually going with, and I didn't even notice this until this evening, the lone American-bred filly in the Diana, Bleecker Street.
By Quality Road.
Yeah, I guess I'm handing it off. Is Steve? So is it if it's in order of?
Yeah, I guess it'd be me.
It'd be
Yeah,
you,
we're gonna,
Steve.
we're
Go
gonna go
for
ahead and
it.
let Steve go ahead and fire up.
Yeah, I went through here and I couldn't get off the favorite either for all the reasons that Joe said. And
Yeah, beware the undefeated horse, especially when she's 7 for 7.
right.
Yeah.
Ray, as I often hear sometimes from the comments field, Rich, you talk too much. So Ray, why don't you talk a little bit?
handicap versus 7 to 10. So I'm looking for horse near 11 right now. This race I know Bleecker Street looks very, very tough. She's 7 for 7, 6 to 5. But I'm gonna take a shot here, and a lot of times you get surprised from a horse that just goes out there and doesn't stop. So I'm gonna go with In Italian at 6 to 1, and I'm gonna take a shot that this horse will just go out there and set the easy pace and don't look back. Maybe Bleecker Street to get some sort of traffic trouble in the turf. Sometimes that happens. I know she's 7 for 7, but she always has to make a trip and get up and get up and get up. But maybe I can wide the field here with Rosario, and I'll just take a shot. And at worst, I'll get second, maybe. Hopefully, she's good enough for second. So I'll take an Italian Saratoga, a lot of funny stuff happens, and maybe it'll be her day. Number 6 for me, in Italian.
Yeah, I guess I'll be the
Rich?
one guy who decides to go off the reservation here. You know what? And Chad Brown's back there, and so is Irad Ortiz, and hopefully someday somebody's going to make a Flavian Pratt bobblehead doll so I can get him up on my shelf because he certainly belongs back there. But regardless, I'm not going to go with the Chad Brown horse in this race. I'm going to go a little bit off the reservation, a little bit away from my friends here. I am going to go with the Godolphin horse. I'm going to go with Charlie Appleby and Jamie Spencer. The horse comes over from Europe, essentially. Did not do so much last year when they came over in 2021. You see, there's two races there at Saratoga and Belmont. Just a third and a fourth. Normally, I like to see a little bit better. And then the horse went over to Medan and did win the Balanchine Stakes that was presented. There was a grade two. There was a 10 horse field. So I went with Creative Flair again. Um, Owned by Godolphin, bred by Godolphin, trained by Charlie Appleby, ridden by Jamie Spencer. The horses out of Dubawi. There was a lot to like, I thought, here as far as a turf horse was concerned, coming over here to the United States and taking another poke at this. The horse is 4 for 9 lifetime and has raced against this kind of company before. So I went ahead and went with Creative Flair. Pop that up and make sure I get everybody's races in. We're going to erase what we did last week. I hope.
And just so that everybody who knows wants to check these races out, you can see it on Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2, or you can watch it on YouTube on America's Day
Yeah.
at the Races.
Yeah.
And the pick four starts at roughly 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time. And if there are any international viewers, you're on your own.
No, and thanks, Joe, because even me, an experienced horse player, I actually had some trouble last week trying to follow the Belmont races. You saw that from my text messages. I was having some trouble trying to pick up
Yeah,
where to go ahead and watch those races. I'm a TVG loyalist, which is I'm
yeah.
used to being able to watch them, and it just wasn't there.
It's funny because it's kind of sad that I was looking at the TVG
Yeah.
post
Yeah.
today, and they were showing Belterra Park and Laurel, and I was like Ellis Park, and I was like,
Oh
this
my
is every race every day. I don't think
No.
Oh
so.
boy, yeah,
And
it
it's just
does.
so it's sad, but I mean we don't need to go into that now. So
No, but
All I
thank you
gotta
for
say is, guys on TV and networks, whatever, get yourself together, because
absolutely,
fans are losing good horse racing.
absolutely,
To be
and
subject to
yeah,
be put on
yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
to,
But Ray, I can't.
come
But
on. It's on
honestly,
contracts,
I'd rather them. TVG is only in so many homes. Fox Sports is in a lot more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, people just don't know that it's on Fox Sports.
Yeah,
And
true.
but as you know, I as I said to you last week, I do have Fox Sports. I had trouble finding the
But they
races
won't show
last
the
week.
whole card,
It just
Joe.
yeah, that was
It's like
exactly what,
selected races.
right. It seemed
Well,
like they had
well,
dropped off by the time that I wanted to watch
I'm
last
on
week and
Twin
things like that.
Spires watching
And I
live.
was
well,
I was having to I was
true.
They don't
subjected to
show our
watching
races.
on what you
They
what
don't.
you mentioned, YouTube.
Well, Fox Sports shows, to the best of my knowledge, unless it's on NBC, they show every race.
No,
Sometimes
they,
they're
they come on at
preempted
3
and
o'clock, 2
they
o'clock.
move from Fox Sports 1 to Fox Sports 2, which is problematic, but at least it's, again, it's Fox Sports.
It's
It's a bigger
something.
name than
It,
TVG.
it's
No.
something. All right. All right. Off the media ran for a second. All right. We are on to race number
Let's
9.
go.
I got
They're
Twin
going
Spires. I don't
right.
care.
They're going a mile and an eighth on the inner turf. This is an optional claiming race. The purse is $115,000.
Wow, man.
I'm
Big
sorry.
bucks.
It is for 3-year-olds which have never won $18,000 other than maiden, claiming, starter, or state bred allowance, or which have never won 2 races, or optional claiming price of $80,000. So essentially, this is a little stakes race for horses that have won a race. And your morning line favorite, if I'm not mistaken, is in post number 9. It's going to be the subject of tonight's history question. Trained by Shug McGahee and ridden by Jose Ortiz, Fort Ticonderoga is 2-1 on the Saratoga morning line. And for those of you who want to digress from me, yes, there is a horse who on the morning line is even money, and that is Naval Aviator. Steve, don't start with me. All right, and he is trained by Joe Sharp and ridden by Tyler Gaffalione. But as you see there, the critical point there might be that Naval Aviator is listed for the main track only, which means unless Ray jumps in here with a morning forecast of rain for northern New York, it is going to be Fort Ticonderoga. And the trivia question is which militia group is responsible for capturing Fort Ticonderoga during the American Revolutionary War, you guys?
Crickets.
Oh wow, I thought I had you. I thought for sure I might get somebody who would jump in with the Green Mountain Boys. All right, and they were led by Ethan Allen and General Benedict Arnold. Anyway, Joe, you went first in our first race. Ray, you're going to be up first in our second race. Who do you like in the optional claimer here? Again, almost like a little stake races at almost every other track
Okay.
with
Well,
$150,000
tomorrow I
purse.
don't see any rain, so I think that it's safe to say that horse will not run. Um, I went here with number 5, Summer Anthem, 10-1. Um, Most of the 9 of 1, so he broke his maiden in Keeneland, and a good meet and a good what do you call it, spring meet over there where they have
Mhm.
the bluegrass stakes. So he broke his maiden there at 9-5, and that was a good race for him. Very good race. Went to Churchill, a little overmatched, kind of. Audubon, $200,000 race. Actually went to the lead. Castellano tried to steal the race, but just didn't. He's backed up lately, so his horse seems to be dropping in class, back to 9 of 1, and he might have a little bit little account of himself. So I'll take a shot. Michael Maker usually does well. Saratoga brings in some long shots sometimes. So summer anthem for me. I hope Gaffleon will rate him because that's what he seems to be. Does his best running. Tracking horses and making a move, and he's got some talent. He had a good figure, breaking the vein. So just I'll give it a pass for the last race. A little draw a line, overmatched. Did run well for a few furlongs, at least 6. So I think he's got some talent. He should do well here. Summer anthem for me. Who's next, Joe?
No, it's actually
Oh no, wait,
Steve.
Steve.
You're,
Steve,
yeah,
sorry.
you're going to go ahead and pass to your left.
Okay.
Am I right?
I'm taking the 2. I settled on 2 Royal Spirit. Luis Saez on board. Todd Fletcher. 2A. Whatever. Do I get 2A and 2B?
I do believe that's a paired choice one with that, so you will get
You
2A
would get both if they both
Yeah,
run.
if they both run, yeah.
and
Two
2B.
B's are also eligible, so yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goes
So
in.
so yeah. I settled on this horse. Looks like he didn't have a great race last race, but he's put up some decent speed figures. It should be competitive. So you take a 6-1 and whatever the other shot is. I didn't really look at the other horse.
They were Poly boys.
Yeah. No, and unfortunately, it just caught my eye because Ray texted us this afternoon about this kind of sad note. But there you go. Back in February of 22, so just earlier this year, the horse finishes second by a nose in the Kitten's Joy. And Ray, I believe it was you who informed us that said that.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, moment of
He
silence for
passed.
Kitten's Joy. Not only one of my favorite horses when he was on the track, but certainly one of the favorite horses of this show off of the track. I'm up next, and I just want to make sure that I've got this correctly. Doing my handicapping a little bit earlier tonight. Yeah, believe it or not, I strangely enough, I ended up back on the where is he? I guess based on what's going on in my life right now. I went with Credit Event, who is trained by Chad Brown, written by Irad Ortiz. Um, the horse has a win in the initial event there back at Gulfstream Park. That was on that new Tappeta surface, which again plays a lot like the turf sometimes. The horse was very short, not the favorite in that particular race, but it was only a 5-horse field. Came right back after that. They hiked him all the way up one of those races there at Keeneland. You see it a mile and 16th on the turf. Did not do so well, and then came back out of that and finishes second. Again, beats Analogy, who is a Todd Pletcher horse who's in this one. And again, you're getting Irad Ortiz and Chad Brown. They do hit at 31% together. You all know how we feel about Chad Brown and Irad Ortiz. They're both back there as well. And I felt that this horse at 4-1 right now. I'm not sure I'm going to get that price. Again, Chad Brown and Irad Ortiz, even at Saratoga, even in a field that's this difficult, I'm not quite sure I'll get that price. But I went ahead and went with the 6. And I'm going to hand that off to Mr. English to finish us off here.
Yeah, Rich, I don't know that you're going to get that price either, because that duo always takes money, and especially at Saratoga. It's funny, Steve and I are on the same horse again in this race too. It's funny because Rich mentioned Analogy, who's the other Pletcher, and I'm thinking Royal Spirit is really the other Pletcher. And Louis Saez, who was the meet's leading rider last year and set a win record for a number of wins. Yeah, like Steve mentioned, the horse he just missed in the Kitten's Joy. I'm sorry, that Rich mentioned in his last race on turf. The race after that, he was in the JR Stakes race at Turfway over a synthetic track, and 2 Derby winners came out of it. Tawny Port, who won the Ohio Derby, and of course Rich Strike, who won the Kentucky Derby. And then then 2 months later, he was at Churchill Downs, and of course he couldn't run on the turf. So that was his dirt debut. Obviously, did not necessarily like it. Had the rail. Maybe it was just, again, bad day. Going to forgive that. So he's back on a surface that he prefers, and he's had success at a level above this. So I went also with the 2 Royal Spirit.
Here we go. All right, here we go. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to move along to race number 11. Excuse me, race number 10. This is going 6 furlongs on the main track. It is the Sanford Stakes. It's a grade 3. The purse is $175,000. It is for 2-year-olds only because it's a non-LASIK race. And your morning line favorite is in post number 4. I believe it's Forte, trained by Todd Pletcher and ridden by Irad Ortiz, is 5-2 on the Saratoga morning line. And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Newsom, you are up first.
All right. Well, let's see. I went with the 5, Curly Jack. With Tyler Gaffleone on board. He's pretty good with sprints, winning at 23%. This race was difficult for me to pick, but as I was looking through it, there was 3 horses I was looking at with all seemed like similar races. One won their races by 3, 4, 5 lengths, whatever, and probably kind of let up at the end. So their speed numbers on a couple of these, I think, are going to be a lot higher. So I think I like this horse here today. So,
and I just went one post outside of you, so we'll start together, Steve. I went with Most Strike, and that one's trained by Brad Cox and ridden by Florent Giroux. They're a mere 31% together. Kind of a magical combination down there at Churchill Downs, which is where this horse had its only start, which he won. Not by the length that the other ones. You mentioned a few of these horses actually have won by length in their opening races. This horse was in a 10-horse field. It's one of those, mere $120,000 races that they have down there at Churchill Downs. And he is by Uncle Mo, trained by Brad Cox, ridden by Florent Giroux. Did win that first race in a 10-horse field. I didn't see any next out winners in that top line. But again, a 5.5 furlong race. Now stretching out just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and go with the 6, Most Strike. And I'm going to hand it off to Mr. English.
Well, Steve and I are not on the same horse this race. Thank you very
Finally.
much. yes, these races are tough because basically most of them have all had one start. They've all won,
Yep.
and most of them have looked really good doing it. Some get bigger figures than others, and those end up being favorites. Or if they're either trained by Chad Brown or Todd Pletcher,
Right.
obviously they get bet as well. I went with the 9 Andiamo Firenze, who's 7-2 on the morning line, second
Yeah.
choice. Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz. And this guy is a half-2 horse. We
Chad
all
Brown or
know
Kelly?
Firenze Fire,
Yeah,
who
Kelly Breen.
yeah, Firenze Fire, who actually won his first 2 starts in his career, and the second start was in actually in this very race, the Sanford
Oh.
Grade 3 at Saratoga. Um, so he should be able to get a solid position up close because he's got enough speed. He doesn't necessarily have to be on the lead. I just don't want him to be 4 or 5 wide around the turn, but he's got enough speed that if nobody goes, he'll clear. He can do that. But he speed is still tough with juveniles, and it's just tough with 2-year-olds. So if he can get a forward position and maybe try to improve on that through the lane. So I went with Andiamo a Firenze for Chad Brown and Jose Ortiz. Ray?
All right. Well, I this is funny. Um, I had a horse that I was gonna pick. I liked him. Um, but somebody has him, so I'm gonna. Nobody picked this horse. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna take him. I'm taking Forte. This truck I have him by myself. Whatever he pays, he pays. I was gonna go with Steve's horse, Curly Jack. I thought he would outdo wider field, but since I'm looking second guessing here, I see a lot of speed in this race. I think they're gonna have a couple of them gonna go out there, so I think Forte probably gonna wait. Maybe he does. He's gonna be tough. I think so. The price may not be there, but the fact that no one has him, I'll take him. So Forte for me.
All
I'm
right.
putting the prices right here.
I was gonna say,
Basically, you know. I
playing
wanted
it
to
right.
take him, but I thought he wasn't gonna pay much. So, but if nobody's gonna take him, I'll take him.
No, playing the game right from the very beginning. Playing the game. I kind
He's
of
gonna
admire
get
that.
I
again.
got
I
no
ra-
money
I
anyway,
rather
so
I rather play. I mean, he's not going to be a
no,
real short
it's
price,
gonna
but
be 4 to 5
I
layouts. So
rather
leave money.
Pletcher. They get bet.
Yeah,
It just is what it is. It's
No,
yeah.
and Joe,
I mean, I'm not,
you caught the whole connection between Adiamo de Firenze. I assume that was some connection
yeah.
to Firenze Fire, and then I could not find it because again, we only use the Brisnet forms here. I wasn't able to look up the
Yeah.
fire lineage and things like that. So nice. All right.
Oh, the same owner, right? Yeah, Mr. Moore. Yeah,
That I did not look at.
I
I
wasn't
I
sure.
think
I
so.
I would guess. Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So,
Probably they may
but,
own the dam, and that may have something to
hmm
do with it. I would think.
well,
All right. I just make sure I've got this correctly before I start my little gab here. This was a huge. this race had everybody in there, um, and I believe so. We are on to race number 11. This is the finale of our sequence tonight for tonight's tournament. They're going a mile and a 16th on the turf. It is a claiming race. Purse is $50,000 for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races. Your morning line favorite is there in post number 4. This is Diva Ready, trained by Jonathan Thomas and ridden by Flavian Pratt, is 2-1 on the Saratoga morning line. And actually, for my pick, unfortunately, you don't actually have to look much further than right there. I did take the morning line favorite, Diva Ready, and again, trained by Jonathan Thomas and ridden by Flavian Pratt. Um, that that maiden special weight there down at Delaware Downs. The horse started off at Keeneland with Luis Saez aboard, and then wins there at Delaware Downs. Comes back up to Woodbine in a 7.5 furlong turf race. Finishes 4th. Looks like there just needed a little bit more to go ahead and get ready. This horse Looks like to me, by More Than Ready, the distance is going to hit a square between the eyes. You're getting 2-1 there on the morning line. I'm not sure if we'll see by the time the horse race or the race comes out. But again, kind of playing the game, sort of speak at this point in time. I did it up on the favorite. I went with the 4. I'm going to hand it off to Joe.
Okay, Duke. I went with number 6, Bella Conchita, Sherry DeVoe, and Manny Franco at 5-1 on the morning line. Cutting back from a 12 furlong allowance race at Keeneland into a non-winners of 2 lifetime race at 8.5 furlongs. Generally, the horse was at least on or near the lead. Obviously, did not finish well, but going 12 furlongs, I'm not, I wouldn't expect most horses to finish well going that far. But she drops back in distance and drops down in company. She should not have any stamina issues. And the trainer, Cherie DeVoe, was a Chad Brown assistant, and she's 7 for 31 locally, lifetime in her career, including an opening day win in the Wilton Stakes in the 1 mile shoot, which we probably should talk about at some point. And of course, today, like Rich had mentioned earlier, the passing of Kitten's Joy. Why not have a horse sired by Kitten's Joy to win at Saratoga tomorrow? So, give me the 5, Bella Conchita, in the finale. Steve?
Yeah, I was thinking about changing, but nah, I'm gonna stick with the 4, Diva Ready, Flavian Pratt. Again, for all the same reasons Rich said. The horse has done the distance and won. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the favorite.
Ray, you're going to take us home for the evening.
Right. Expecting a fast pace in this tough race. Um, I went with a closer, number 3, Noble Enterprise, Peter Pugh, Louis Saez. Um, no, last time, I mean, the last 2 races, it's closed to second and third, coming off the pace. Um, actually, the last time in Belmont, this is kind of a similar condition. So, you know, she was formidable, and she's 4 out of 10 in the money. So she runs as long as she gets a trip coming from post 3. Could be a little troublesome here, being on the inside. But Saez, like you said last year, he's last year's leading rider, so he should be able to work out a trip. And the horse suits in this condition, so let's see what happens. 8-1 is a good price. So Noble Enterprise for me with Louis Saez.
Mm-hmm. Oh, baby.
We gotta go.
We got to go now. All right, everybody, take a look at your picks and make sure I got what it is that you think. Is that on there?
Picks are right for now, but with all the
Pending
also eligibles, there
scratches
might
and
be plenty of
AEs and
scratches
all these
tomorrow.
things.
So
And,
we will
yep.
keep in touch with each other, and if we need to, maybe we should post something on YouTube or something if we have to make changes. But we'll keep in touch.
All right.
Hey Ray, 6-5-4-3. Nice.
Yeah. Too bad we didn't play the pick 6. Like a little countdown for you.
Yeah, you gotta go. You'd have to have the 8 in the first leg and the 7 in the second leg.
And race 7, I had picked Baby Yoda to beat reinvestment Richard. So
As
I didn't even look at the
I
race.
handicapped that race. I thought it was 7 and
Yeah.
10.
As I said to you before, you're using your luggage combination here.
Huh? Yep.
Mhm.
Thanks for all
All
you
right.
guys. All you guys, Rich. Sorry.
For those of you who are watching our show, that's kind of how it works. So we get together on a weekly basis. We go ahead and put our selections in. We keep track of it for about 10 weeks. Again, we've already finished off 2 tournaments this year. This is our 3rd tournament of the year. It is called the Summer Stakes. And again, you kind of witnessed how we kind of make the sausage, so to speak. Joe, Steve, Ray, any horse racing thoughts before we go ahead and wrap up this week's show?
Looking
Just wanted
forward
to give you directions.
to
87 North, exit 9P. I'm
Just
gonna be right there.
looking forward to being there in about 5 weeks. 5 weeks. 5 weeks from today, we'll be doing the show at an Airbnb in Saratoga Springs, Ray and I. So
I'm
Nice.
looking forward to it.
Nice.
Should have been there. We've got Del Mar opening up next weekend. We've got Saratoga opening
Oh,
up this weekend. It really is kind of that fun summer vacation for all of us here. So, without further ado, I will go ahead and wrap this one up. My name is Rich Sharp. Our show is called Tournament Horse Racing. It is brought to you by Broke Guys Handicapping. For Stephen Newsom and for Joe English and for Ray Torado. Again, my name is Rich Sharp. Good night, everybody, and good luck. Bye-bye.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
All right.